Hello dear friends! I made the opening of this video look a little bit like a horror movie because I really wanted to show you my residential building, which is pretty typical for this neighborhood. And today I welcome you to a typical working class neighborhood here in Kharkiv, the second largest city in Ukraine. I've lived in this area my entire life, so I want to show you around. It's honestly a pretty poor neighborhood these days, not the poorest 100%, but also not a wealthy one. So some parts are better, some parts are worse. The war has made things harder, a lot of people has left, but if you can hear how kids are screaming in the background, you can understand that there are some people here, and you can join me. We will spend a couple of days together, maybe 1 day or 2 days, we'll see how it goes, because I want to show you how ordinary Ukrainians live in a typical neighborhood like this, like beyond downtown areas, because downtown area is maybe like 20% of Kharkiv, and the rest is areas like this where we actually live. So I want to share with you the main problems this neighborhood has and why I am actually thinking about moving away from here. So join me and let's spend a day in a typical working class neighborhood in Ukraine. So let's start with a short introduction to this area. This micro-district in Kharkiv is part of a huge residential area called Saltovka. It was built entirely by the Soviets in the 80s, mostly for factory workers. Here we can see a kindergarten. I don't know if kids can still go here. And this place is actually very interesting. You can see this kind of abandoned shop back in the USSR. We could return glass bottles here. It was a bottle return, so you collected glass bottles and then you can bring it here and they will give you money. It was a big deal back in the USSR. So mostly factory workers lived here, and the biggest employer nearby was the Kharkiv tractor plant. I would say that this neighborhood has gone through 2 waves of decline. The first came when the USSR collapsed and most factories closed. And then roughly between 2010 and like 2022, just before the war, things began to improve a little bit and everything looked more optimistic. But then the war began and we're facing now the second wave of decline. Now we're heading toward public schools to have a workout. Now we are on the territory of a public school, and actually everything looks so lovely. The evening is so peaceful and this area looks nice. I enjoy spending time here, so it doesn't look like something in a decline. But actually I wanted to talk about a negative thing, and this is substance abuse. You know, friends, I spent 3 months in Istanbul this winter, and people don't drink alcohol in public places. A lot of people drink tea, chai in the evening, and when I returned to Ukraine, I was shocked by how many people drink alcohol here. And you can see people walking with kids and holding a bottle of beer. In a supermarket, people are lining up with bottles of vodka. So it's an issue here. It's a serious issue. But also in my residential building, 2 young guys died from a drug addiction. So I personally knew 2 young guys who were addicted to a drug called crocodile. You might never heard about it. It is a very local thing. It's only widely used in Ukraine and in Russia. And it's a street name for desomorphine. It's a very, very cheap and very toxic analog of heroin. I know a little bit about this stuff because they lived in my part of the building, and we believe that on the 6th floor they actually had a flat where they made this drug. It's called crocodile because of the damage it makes to your skin. So it is made from codeine-based pills, medication, and very toxic like chemicals. It can be gasoline, it can be pain thinner. So when you inject this rubbish into your body, this site of injection gets greenish because blood vessels are damaged and soft tissues are damaged, so you are like basically decaying. It's extremely toxic, highly addictive, and withdrawal symptoms are brutal. It feels a little bit depressing for me. I am not like complaining because still, you know, you can go to places like this, which is not that far away from my building, but generally speaking, some friendly kids. Hello, hello. Hello. One more thing about crocodile. You know what? Why it is only common here and in Russia? One of the reasons is that you can buy the main ingredient, this what is codeine, over the counter. You can go to a pharmacy and buy some cough medicine that contain the main ingredient to make this drug. And I actually want to put it in a test, friends. I will take you to a pharmacy because I still need a couple of medication to buy for myself. And we will try to buy this cough medicine. Здравствуйте, как вас зовут?
Михаил.
Михаил, очень приятно. А скажите, пожалуйста, нравится ли вам жить в этом районе? И вы харьковчанин?
Да. В этом микрорайоне нравится все то, что рядом класс есть, ну, все магазины, которые нужны для покупок. Вот есть детские площадки, где можно погулять, поиграть в футбол, в баскетбол, в волейбол. Ну вот тут даже сколько раз футбольное поле, второе, третье.
Да, ну вот это хорошее очень место. Понятно, то есть вам здесь нравится?
Естественно.
Ну супер,
ну а сейчас проживаю на 607-м. Тоже
давайте.
Там классный урбан парк.
The owner of this doggy said that she really wants to get into a car. Hello! So cute, you're so cute. And there are a lot of dogs here. Nice. So friends, this is an outdoor gym that actually I wanted to show you. No, I will not. I will not open the car. And look at this. Look at this outdoor stuff. And we are going to have some workout here. А я ж так не вижу.
Не вот так,
Ага.
а вот сюда.
А вот как бы туда. Это да. Еще так, раз. Еще раз. Нормально. It was our little workout. It's pretty late, so we're heading back home. Tomorrow we will go to a market, to a pharmacy. I will show you other parts of this area. And this girl was so cute, so friendly, but unfortunately her mother was completely drunk. Yeah, a very sad picture. This is what I was talking about, friends. Alcohol is a big issue here. So anyways, until tomorrow. Good morning, friends from the neighborhood. Today we've got a few things to do, and the first thing first, we're gonna take out some trash. Usually trash bins located close to residential buildings. We have a couple of containers, and here we don't sort out garbage, so it's a mixture. So I'll show you some real domestic stuff here in the neighborhood. Wow, my residential building is epic. One thing I have to give credit for is that actually the city services do a pretty good job, and generally speaking it's pretty clean. This neighborhood is not wealthy, but it is pretty clean. Look at these trash bins, brand new, very nice. It started to rain all of a sudden, and now because of my umbrella you can't really see the neighborhood, but I can't help it, otherwise I get wet. So friends, I want to take you to a pharmacy because I need to pick up a couple of medications for myself, and also we will try to buy over the counter a cough medicine that contains codeine, which is an opioid. We've decided to put it in a test. And then we get some drinking water. I am carrying a plastic bottle. In Kharkiv, technically, you can drink tap water, but the quality is very bad. If you don't mind having issues with your kidneys, you can drink tap water, but otherwise it's not a good idea. So people either buy bottled water in a supermarket, or we have vending machines, I'll show you, like this one, and you just buy drinking water from a machine. It is way cheaper than buying a bottled water in a supermarket. Actually, behind my back is a type of a residential building called Хрущевка. These 5-story buildings were built under Khrushchev, a Soviet leader. Oh, it is so peaceful. I'll flip my camera so you can see how it is actually peaceful in a typical Soviet kinda working class neighborhood. What is good about this kind of urban planning is that you can see how many trees the Soviets planted. It's like, you know, sometimes it feels like a real forest. No joke. And everything is so green. See? Kids are playing here. No, like they can play. We don't see any kids because maybe it's raining. Some toys. Also, one good thing is that these areas are not criminal. They are very safe. And we can see a small football field for kids. So it's pretty lovely, actually. Look at this collection of Soviet cars. Lada Niva, in a good condition, actually. And this is also a Lada with damaged wheels. One more Lada. And here it is Deolanas, and again Lada. so you can see how popular Ladas are in Kharkiv in 2026. So our medication test is completed. I failed to buy a cough medication. I made an order online. You can do like this, and then you come to a pharmacy and they check what you ordered. And once she noticed this medication with a codeine, she looked at me like, "What are you, a dummy? Don't you know that this kind of stuff are only available with prescriptions?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I didn't know that." So we deleted the cough medication, and I only got some stuff I needed without a prescription. And I'll show you the pharmacy, friends. So this is a decent one. They will not sell you drugs without a prescription, which is good, I am happy. Things are not that chaotic here. One more disappointing thing I wanted to share with you guys about this area is that a lot of people have left when the war began. So people who had money, skills, generally speaking, opportunities, they have left. I judge the situation by my residential building. Some families left for the European Union, Germany, Poland, Sweden. One guy ended up in Russia, actually. So who left? Myself, pensioners, and dysfunctional families. And I am, generally speaking, notorious for being arrogant and pretentious. And I would like to see more hope, more ambition, mentally healthy neighbors around me. But it is difficult. It is difficult for me. Whenever I walked out my building, I already see how my neighbors gathered together and they drink something. I don't know what exactly they drink. I try not to look. And usually we just say hello to each other, and I behave in a very arrogant manner because this is the way I protect myself from being invited to join them. Never once actually they invited me. I demonstrate with my facial expression that no, I'm not gonna join you and do some shady business with you. So friends, this is how things are going here. And yeah, of course, theoretically, even though I grew up here, maybe it would be a good idea to try to escape and move closer to downtown areas because it is better there. So that's it for today. I'm gonna head back home, have my lunch. I will edit this video and see you very soon from Kharkiv again. Thank you very much for watching. And of course, if you would like to support my channel, you might consider buying me a coffee. So bye-bye, friends. See you soon.